It's Vegetable Garden Maintenance Day today here at the Adobe Ring Ranch. Hello everybody and welcome back. So today we have some overcast skies, but the temperatures are supposed to reach 95 degrees, which normally the highs around here don't reach the highest temps till about 5 o'clock at night. So with this overcast, I'm able to do a couple little chores here and there. So today I figured it would be a great day to do some plant inspections, some deadheading, some general fertilizing, and just a quick inspection of some of the plants that are growing here in the vegetable garden. So if any of you want to come join me and help me out, step forward. Now I have to say one of the positives for me with the individual beds, whether it be raised or a small little bed like this, is that they get individual focused. I can focus in on one little area, do what I have to do, then move on to the next bed and move on. Instead of having this big field of plants everywhere, I can basically focus in on individual plants and see if I need to do anything. So for now, this one was pretty much good to go except for morning watering. I did hit some of the zinnias with an insecticidal soap because I'm noticing some of the leaves are getting chewed. Behind is one of my squash vines that was kind of leaning towards the camera. So I just took a piece of twine and I tied it back to the fence just to keep the bed underneath it open in the sun. Watermelons here are looking good, so they were all good. And in the back there are some red sunflowers. They normally in the beginning look a little wispy, but as time goes on, they definitely thicken up and get a lot stronger. If I need to down the line, I can always tie them up to the fence just to give them a little extra security. Moving along to the little squash bed here. I'm still not happy with this green squash, summer squash. It's got male flowers, no female, and I just don't like the color of the leaves. This got a good dose of organic fertilizer today to see if that helps. And the vining squash that I have in the back, as I just stated, is going gangbusters. So I don't understand why the summer squash here is giving me such a hard time. But also in the bed, I stuck in one of my little cherry tomatoes here. This one's sun gold. There's no fruit left on it because I already ate it. There's some green ones over here, but it just needed some additional twine to hold it to the stake. So this bed had been taken care of. The little section here with the strawberries that I planted about a week ago are doing fine. I am not going to do anything to them today. They got a good watering this morning. Moving over to this longer bed, we've got some cilantro that's actually flowering. As you can see, there's a lot of butterflies on it, and there's a lot of beneficial pollinators that like cilantro when it flowers. So I'm going to leave that for a little bit. And did you know that if you let cilantro go to seed, it actually becomes, the seeds are called coriander. So you actually get two different spices out of one plant. But I normally like my cilantro, but I'm going to leave this for the insects right now. And that white flower isn't so bad. I've got a annual cosmos here. I did a quick deadhead of all of the spent blossoms, so these ones are fairly new, and I've got some new ones coming on pretty strong. Over here is one of two grapevines I planted about a week and a half ago, and as you can see, this one decided to go crazy and start sprouting, so I'm real thrilled about this. This one is called Flame, and I'm hoping that by the end of the summer I've got some vines that are going to go up against the fence line so I can start training it for next year's harvest. Okay, so moving down the row, I had stuck in a tomato plant. This one's called Ace. It gave me a lot of trouble in the beginning. Germination was poor. I had a lot of dampening off issues, and I had a lot of flea beetle problems, but this was one of my insurance plants that I didn't want to throw out, and it's actually giving me some fruit. So I only put it in here because the grape vines that I had ordered took so long to get here, and I didn't want to waste the space, and I was considering canceling my order. But needless to say, the tomato plant is in here. It's doing fine. There's another one back here, Kapari, I think it's called. This is the one that I took the seeds out of a tomato that I actually purchased back at Costco back in Connecticut, and I dried the seeds and took them here to West Texas. And it's going to be a smaller size tomato, but it's going to be bigger than a cherry tomato, and they are just starting to turn color. Let me see. There's one in here that, yeah, there we go, is just starting to turn color. But they grow in little clusters, and then they all turn at the same time. So I'm curious to see how well they do here, but I know the taste is good, so that's why I brought the seeds all the way back from Connecticut. We have that cantaloupe vine in the back as well, and I still have a couple of little cantaloupes here, and over there there's one and two, but I didn't have to do anything to them. There's a couple of leaves here that I'm not thrilled with, so I'm probably going to give them a little snip and throw those into the compost pile. Moving down, I am at my other grapevine. This one is called Concord. Same mail company that I purchased this one from. This one has yet to sprout. I'm hoping some of the buds along the stem here are starting to swell, but it's still too early for me to tell. It's not quite 2 weeks yet, so I'm not too concerned. Backing it up is the honeydew melon that's doing fairly well. There's a whole bunch of them on the back here, so they're doing all right. And again, there was nothing I needed to do. I did give it a hit of organic fertilizer only because of the fruit production and all this vegetative growth. So here's another fruit hanging off the end here. So it's got a lot of fruits on it. So I thought a little fertilizer wouldn't hurt. Again, if I wanted, I could get rid of some of these old and battered leaves. I'll do that a little bit later. Coming through, yet more strawberries that are slow to pop up, but they are popping up. So if I can get them through the hot summer, hopefully they'll give me some strawberries next year. I've got some zinnias in the center here. Some of these are starting to fade. I'm going to give this another couple of days before I actually deadhead. And there's a purpley colored one. Moving along to my light blue bed here. I've got some gazanias, which are blooming their heads off, and I already cut off these spent flowers from yesterday. And then moving over is another gazania that just started setting bud. I'm not sure what color this one is yet. Hopefully it's not that same orangey color. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That is pretty. One of my newest blackberries, Prime Arc, is slowly starting to move. There happens to be a yellow cucumber behind it, and I'm fighting constantly, almost daily, to keep the vines back away from the blackberry to give the blackberry some sunlight. So hopefully I can get this cucumber up on the fence so it's not bothering the blackberry anymore. Moving over are the raspberries. They got hit with it's called berry tone. It's an acidic fertilizer that does well for blackberries and raspberries. So I just gave that a little hit. And again, I'm fighting the cucumbers to keep them away from the actual raspberries to keep them growing strong. How about this zinnia color? Isn't that beautiful? And look, we've got some butterflies. They have finally arrived. There's another one on this side. Yeah, so they like the zinnias. I'm loving this hot magenta color, and it's covered in flowers. Look at them all on the back. Beautiful. So the only thing I'm doing with this is once the flowers tire out, I deadhead them. And over here are yet more zinnias. This one's got a little more yellow to it, but still a knockout. This annual does extremely well in the desert heat. It likes dryness, but like anything, you give it some rich soil and some water, it does exceptionally well. Now here is a spent blossom from yesterday, so we're just going to deadhead that. We're going to take my scissors and just give that a quick snip, get this out of here, put it in my bucket for the compost pile, and then all these other buds that are coming on will be opening in no time. Here's another one that needs to be deadheaded back here. So that's another one for the compost pile. And here's another, raspberry plant here that got the berry tone treatment as well. All I did was scratch away some of the mulch, cypress mulch, and then I put a little scoop of fertilizer, and then I covered it back up with the mulch. And then tomorrow when I water, it'll get watered in. This is the first blackberry I put in when we first got here, and it's going nuts. I had to train some of these vines along a string because I want to get it to the fence line. Other ones grew along the fence line, and I'm just weaving it in and out of the squares of the fence, and it's actually going in both directions here. And these vines on the blackberries will be the ones that will be producing fruit next year. Now with that said, let's come down here. Apparently I had some old wood on this plant because at the base here it actually flowered, and it's starting to give me blackberries. They look kind of small. These are called Triple Crown, and they're known for their massive size. I don't know if these are going to get any bigger or not, but I wouldn't say that is a large berry. But needless to say, I'll be happy if we get a handful of blackberries because I'd like to taste this. But again, most of my production will probably be next year. Going around the corner here, I have yet more gazanias because I knew they did well here in the desert. And check out this color. It's not your yellow. This one's like white with some pink and yellow tones to it. Beautiful. There's a couple of spent blossoms here that I will be cutting off in a moment. It's hard to use the scissors with one hand. And then moving around to this bed is where I'm currently at. I've got some zinnias in the center. The flowers are looking pretty good. What was the name of this? I always mess this up. This seed packet variety is called Fireball, and it's got this beautiful orange color, and it had that magenta color as well. So these two colors together to me are a knockout. So I put them in between two tomato plants here. So currently I'm on this bed, and this is my blueberry, and my blueberry plant, I just gave it a hit of the same berry tone that I used on the blackberries and raspberries, only because I want to keep these plants growing and growing strong, because next year I'll probably be able to grow some blueberries. We did get 3 or 4 blueberries on the plant next door to this one, but they were delicious, but we just didn't have too many. Now I'm currently picking a couple of the cherry tomatoes, and I'm collecting them in this little plastic container that I saved from the grocery store. Not too many on this side, but over on this side, whoa, I've got a number of sun gold cherry tomatoes, which are my favorite. Look at the color. Beautiful. Hardly crack, and the taste is phenomenal. It's not fair to do a side-by-side taste test with another cherry tomato if you eat sun gold first. So if you're going to do a taste test, make sure sun gold is last, because you'll be blown away by sun gold, I guarantee you. There's a number of other fruits in the back here that I have to get my body in and try to pick. So that's going to be a little doing. So I'll wait to harvest the rest of those when I'm done with the video. Check out this tomato. It's got a cool black marking on it. It's kind of wild, huh? Now, initially, the label that was in this one was Alice's Dream. I'm starting to think that that was mismarked, because I also had something called Black Creme, and to me, this looks like Black Creme, so I think the labels got mixed up when I got the plants. But needless to say, I like this one. It looks great. Let's come over. I want to show you a little issue that most gardeners do have, and it's called blossom end rot. Can I get in there? So you have the top of the fruit that looks good, and you get all excited because that's the part you see when you're looking at the plant. But then when you go to pick it, you find this blossom end rot. Now there's a number of excuses on why this happens: uneven watering, too much water, not enough fertilization, blah blah blah. The list goes on and on. All I can tell you is that some of my plants do it, some of my plants don't, some of my fruits do it, some of my fruits don't. So it's a crapshoot. All I know is that if I've got a variety that has too many blossom end rot fruits, I have a tendency not to grow that variety ever again. I would focus in on varieties that I get fruit from, like Early Girl, that had no blossom end rot at all. Now, this is basically a big waste of time and energy for the plant. So I'm a believer on just snipping this fruit off and getting rid of it. Why continue to waste time and energy on a fruit that won't be any good? Because More than likely the blossom and rot is in the inside of this fruit as well. What I may try to do is just put this in the shed for a couple of days just to get this to color up, because I'm curious to find out if this is the Alice's Dream, not the black creme that it was labeled. So I'm going to hold on to this one just for clarity on what plant is growing in what location. And I just spotted a little red cherry tomato. This is Sweet 100. This one's doing fairly well here in the desert as well, and the taste isn't half bad. So let's put that in with the rest of them. There's a lot more for me to pick. And on this side, this scraggly looking thing is my other blueberry plant that I'm going to be fertilizing next, because I want to get more of this new growth going on this plant so that we go into the fall with it big and strong. So next up we'll be giving this plant the berry tone as well, and it just adds acidity to the soil because we have alkaline soil here, and blueberries like acidic soil. So back home in Connecticut, it's a great plant, but for here in the desert, the only reason why I'm growing it is because it's in a raised bed. Okay, so after the berry tone had been applied to this blueberry, that'll get a good watering in tomorrow. We come around to the cucumber patch. This is the first cucumber patch, and it is really starting to tire out. It is early afternoon, so the heat sometimes does a number, but as you can see in here, we've got a lot of browning leaves, and despite the browning leaves, I'm still getting some small little fruits producing on the vine. That one is called Space Maker. The only thing about this, I do like the taste, and actually the smell of it is phenomenal in my book. They don't grow too straight. I guess that's not a big deal if the taste is okay, but in general, all the pickling cucumbers that I've ever grown in the past have been much straighter, similar to something like this. Now this fruit I missed. As you can tell by the yellowing color, it should be green. Yellowing just means it's too mature, and it probably won't taste good. It'll probably taste either bland or too bitter. But what I like to do is put this in the refrigerator, and then tomorrow I'll cut it in half and give it to the chickens for a little treat. So I did manage to snag 2 of the pickling cucumbers, and I did manage to pick a couple of tomatoes this afternoon. So we got some cherries, and we have some early girls here, so that's not so bad. Quickly moving around, I have my onions that are almost ready to be pulled out of the ground. I did move the green tops all to one side just to neaten things up a little bit. But as you can see down in the ground here, I do have onion bulbs forming, and actually this one's all brown, so why don't we give this a little pull and see what we got here. Look at that. That is fantastic. Texas Early is this variety. It's bred for this location, and I would say that is a perfect size onion for Clinton eye, easy meal prep type size. So what I'll do is probably let these dry, pull them out, let them dry on the ground for a couple of days, because you want them to dry, get their outer skins all dry, and it'll be good for storage for they're claiming a couple of months. So we'll see how that goes. And this is a sweet onion, by the way, so hopefully no bittery taste. I don't know if I should quit while I'm ahead, but now I'm getting curious. Let's pull this one up. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. I like it, I like it, I like it. So that's two beauties right there. I don't remember how many actual plants I put in the ground, but I think there was like 30 something. This one doesn't want to come out, so let's dig around the mulch a little bit and give it a gentle tug and see what I've got. Not too shabby. Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. So that's just 3 for right now. Maybe I'll do a video strictly on the onion harvest a little bit later. Let's go around to the tomatillos. My issue with them falling over seems to be solved with these metal stakes I had put in. The ground cherries, they're not looking great in my book. But going around the bottom here, I have found a couple of light brown paper husks on the ground. Sorry, that's a bug in my face. Let me see if there's anything on this side. There's one hanging on the plant. It just fell off. And that's the time you want to harvest them, is when you get that paper coating. I just saw another one on the ground here. I want to snag it. And I want to keep these separate from the next ones I'm going to look at, because they're supposed to be 2 different varieties. So on this side of the tomatillo is another one. I've got the little papery covers. I'm looking for ones on the ground because those are the ones that are definitely mature. Let's see. This one is called... Actually, this one would be the pineapple. So this is the one that I want to compare to the first batch I just picked, which is called Aunt Molly. And Aunt Molly's supposed to have a tropically taste. So let me see if I could take you inside the shed and see if we could do a quick little taste test. Alright, so remember a couple videos back I told you about the ground cherries, and that little papery sack, when it turns brown you can harvest it. And then when you open up the little papery sack, there's this tiny little cherry sized tomato. It's probably even smaller than a cherry size, but it does not taste like a cherry tomato. There's no acidity to this. It is a sweet tasting fruit. What I wanted to do is do a side-by-side taste test, because one of these are supposed to have a tropical fruit taste, and the other one's supposed to have a pineapple taste. We grew the pineapple one last year, tasted like pineapple. So I wanted to try out the other tropical fruit to see if it did taste any different, and I could choose which one I like the best and grow that one next year. So for the moment, I've got the pineapple one that I'm peeling open, and that's the little fruit inside. Okay, I can definitely taste pineapple. So, without a doubt, pineapple. Have one more. There's a slight pineapple peppery taste to that. Maybe it just isn't fully ripe, but that one was really good, and it was definitely pineapple-y. in taste. Now this is the one that's supposed to taste like tropical fruit. I don't know, pineapple is tropical fruit, but okay. I would say that there is a difference in taste. This one's a little bit sweeter than the pineapple one. So probably not that little peppery aftertaste. So I'm thinking that one's pretty good. Tropical. I like the tropical taste. I think what I'll do is as the season progresses, I'll keep doing this side-by-side taste test just to make sure that I got a really ripe pineapple ground cherry before I dismiss it. But currently I like the Miss Molly, which is a tropical tasting fruit. All right, let's get back to the garden real fast. Okay, over on the cantaloupe side, there's still no change. The Minnesota midget, we still have the fruits on here, a number of them. They are smaller in size. The vines keep getting a little wilty in the afternoon, but it's plenty watered enough. And there are a number of small fruits on here, so far production is good. We'll just see if it's worth growing that next year. Our tomatoes that are in here, I'm not liking some of these browning leaves, so I'm going to come by real quick and snip some of these off just to clean the plants up, but in general they look pretty good. There's a couple of fruits on here. There's another fruit, and we have a nice cluster right here, not too shabby, and I'm not seeing any blossom end rot anywhere there. And over here I've got one that's called Lemon Boy, and it's starting to turn yellow, so I'm looking forward to tasting that one. And coming around this side is something called German Pink, and we got a nice ice fruit here. It's quite large, so I just gotta wait for it to start to turn color. Moving back over to this cantaloupe patch, still doing well. Still some really big fruits on this bad boy. I'm not doing anything currently except watering. And when I start seeing this skin to tan up a little bit, I'll probably lay off the water a little bit to increase the sweetness of the fruit. Watermelon patch, we still have the watermelons. I am not happy with the vines. I think I'm getting destroyed by grasshoppers, so I'm trying to rectify that situation, but I still have a couple of watermelons on here. I have to wait for them to slip off the vine before I know that they're ready, but they're not bad. That's a good little dessert size in my book. Peppers, so. I've got my gypsies that I was looking forward to. They are producing some fruits. Not too bad. We'll see how well they do. Moving around. Still some sickly vines here. I'm going to destroy those caterpillars if they ruin my harvest. But down here we have a nice big watermelon, and it's actually sitting on top of another watermelon, and I just noticed a little gash in the side here, but I'm gonna let that ride and see what happens. So the watermelons are doing their thing. This is what I was afraid of with my peppers. This one is getting this brown spot, and this is caused by the sun. It actually is getting sunburn from the sun, and that was the purpose of me growing the watermelon vines, so that it would shade out some of this pepper fruits so that it wouldn't burn like that. But because the vegetation on my watermelons are not full and fully open. Again, I think it's due to the grasshoppers. It's not shading my fruit. And walking around, there's a couple more peppers in here, which aren't doing too bad. We'll see if I get any. This one looks a little funky to me, and I don't like the color on this. But again, I'm gonna let it ride. This one is called Orange Sun. It's supposed to be a bell pepper. Quickly coming around this side, I have my huge eggplant tree. And the eggplants are just starting to set fruit. There's another one down here. If you saw some of my earlier videos, I had problems with aphids, and then the ladybugs came to save me. I used some insecticidal soap as well. And behind this beautiful zinnia, there's yet another eggplant forming here. So the ladybugs came to my rescue, but unfortunately now I'm seeing some sort of bug that's actually going after my ladybugs. So I've got like a little wild kingdom going on here currently in my eggplant. So I'm gonna have to double check this, and I may have to be a little more aggressive with my spraying. Sorry to say, ladybugs, but I have to look underneath the bottom of the leaves to see if I have any more aphids. Squash are doing really well, at least the yellow one. I have a number of fruits on here that I definitely have to pick, but I'm not going to pick them until tomorrow morning. This one's the biggest one so far, so I'll get at that tomorrow morning. This is my early girl, doing really well. I picked a handful of fruits already. I'm going to leave this one on the bush until tomorrow morning. We've got some bigger sized tomatoes over here, and I actually have one starting to turn color back there. I forgot which one that is. I have everybody labeled. That's called Pam's Choice. I've never grown that one before, so hopefully I'll get to taste that one. What else? We've got our paste tomatoes, and we're getting a whole bunch of green ones with no blossom end rot on many of them, but on occasion I do get one. So I'm going to pull that off so it doesn't stress out the plant anymore. But I'm getting a lot of paste tomatoes, and look at the size of this one. Can I get my fat hand out of the way? How's that? Better? Okay, that's a big paste tomato. So I've got two different varieties in here, but I'm gonna break down and do an individual tomato video, and I'll be sure to give you all the names. Here's a nice set of fruit here, all green. Nothing's turned color yet. And then of course my cherry tomato patch, which are doing really well. I've got my sun golds over here as well. I have my sweet 100s, and I have something called apple yellow. It's just a little oblong in shape. It's just not round. Just as good as some of the other cherries, but not as good as sun gold. Coming around the backside, I've got my second planting of green squash, which is doing a lot better than the one I showed you in the beginning of the video. I've got my third crop of cucumbers started in the back there. I'm gonna have them climb up the fence. Carrots, I'm gonna do a separate carrot video and pull up these carrots. I've got a red one and I've got an orange one. I've got more tomatoes on yet this side, and I've got a decent size fruit over here, which is called Lemon Boy again. These were insurance policy plants that I just couldn't throw out, so I just stuck them in an available bed. So that's doing pretty well. And then the last bed over here, And here is where I put in my extra gypsy peppers a couple weeks back, and I'm starting to get some fruit. And I've got one California Wonder that's starting to just put out fruit. There is another yellow cucumber over on this side. My Swiss chard is still doing well with a couple of bug issues, but not too bad. Here's some more gypsy peppers on this side. So in general, I'm not doing anything with the peppers currently. The tomatoes are looking good. I don't even need to tie any of them up. So in general, that would be a quick little, actually not so quick, video on some maintenance, some picking, some deadheading, some inspections, and that's going to be a wrap until the next time we pick up on probably some more harvest. Hopefully by then I'll have a watermelon to look at. All right, until next time, thanks for visiting the Adobe Ring Ranch again, and stay tuned for our next video.